Get ready to unlock the secrets of leadership like never before. This is Beyond Leadership, brought to you by the Association of Washington Student Leaders. It's time to inspire, empower, and lead. Let's go.
Welcome, listeners, to the Beyond Leadership podcast, a podcast for leaders by leaders across the state of Washington. I'm Vince, one of the hosts, and I'm a junior at Seaholm High School in the beautiful city of Bellingham, Washington.
I'm Aubrey. I'm one of the hosts, and I am a sophomore at Spanaway Lake High School in Spanaway, Washington.
My name is Izzy. I am a sophomore at Shelton High School in the town of Shelton.
And I'm Monet, and I'm a senior at Kent Meridian High School in Kent, Washington.
Now, one thing that people oftentimes think about leadership is they think ASB. They think about the direct correlation that ASB has with leadership at their school. But what a lot of people do not realize is that there are plenty of ways of getting involved in leadership.
See, I do agree with that, Vince. I think ASB is so popular because it's the most well-known leadership opportunity. Like every student, even if you're not into leadership, every student knows about ASB.
Yes, it's true. A lot of people want to get involved in ASB for leadership and, plenty of reasons such as like colleges and, getting involved in your community. But what it comes down to is being a leader, being willing to get involved in your community, starting projects by yourself or with friends to help out your community, your school, your family. There's so many ways of being a leader. It goes far beyond what leadership class at your school.
I think it is so important to be a leader outside of your school community. Like, for example, for me, I am in my church's leadership, and that helps me just view more people's stories and help out people in other ways outside of a school setting.
Yeah, and even like when it comes to sports, personally, in my fall sport, I was a captain, and that was just a different experience to like be a leader for a team rather than for a school or an ASB. And I think people don't necessarily realize that it's so much more than ASB. Like there's so many more opportunities out there.
Yes, totally. And, before I even started doing ASB, this year is when I got involved. I just woke up one day. I had really no involvement in leadership before this year, before in ASB, before this year. It was just last year, I woke up one day, saw that the ASB elections were happening, put my name on the list, and I decided to run for treasurer. From there, I went to a leadership camp over the summer, and I found a way to get involved in leadership even outside of my school with the Association of Washington Student Leaders, and I'm involved in leadership in even more ways. And that's not even it, because through this, I found that I am a leader in far more ways than I could have known beforehand.
I totally agree with that. Like Vince, like the way I got into ASB was because my friend so I'm in the IB diploma program. So our cohort is very small. And in our cohort, my friend, he was actually the ASB executive president. And he came up to me and he was like, man, like you're really outgoing. And I see you as somebody that can lead our class. Like you should consider being an ASB. So I was like, I never really put any thought into it. But when I joined ASB, like I really realized how passionate I am to be a leader. Like when I see my community happy, I'm happy. And that really drove me to continue to being a leader and being more versed in AWSL and finding more opportunities to be a leader.
Exactly. I could find so many ways that I and plenty of others could relate to that, because I think that it's less about what you are currently actively doing, but the characteristics that you have. Things like, are you willing to help others? Are you willing to set an example? What are you doing on the daily? What are you doing, projects around your community? Are you picking up trash? Those are leadership characteristics. Those are characteristics of a leader. Can you motivate people? Can you set an example? All these kinds of things. It's a very in-depth topic, to say the least.
Right. I definitely agree. But I also want to bring up the point, something that I'm not sure if you guys would agree with, but I do think ASB is a good gateway to finding other opportunities. At least in my personal experience, after joining ASB, it unlocked so many paths to be a leader in other ways. And it really explained and showed me the characteristics that I needed, not saying that the ASB is a step that everybody needs to take. There's so many different ways to be a leader. But in my case, it really opened a lot of doors for me. And even now, getting ready to graduate in a few months, I see the impacts and the benefits that I've had from ASB, and ultimately just developing my character of being a leader.
Yeah, I definitely feel like ASB, because I'm only a sophomore and this is the first year I'm also doing ASB, I feel like it definitely opened gates up for me too. But it was more so like the people that have taught me like what I know. Like I have like the best advisor in the world. I love her. She's taught me more than, being secretary or anything ever will. And I'm still very grateful for, ASB because I I get to make decisions that I know are going to better our community, but definitely ultimately it came down to who I was working with, and that has changed me for the better, and that'll make me the best leader that I can possibly be.
Yes, it's true. And one of the biggest roadblocks that I find with people getting involved is this kind of it's the sign up sheet is the issue. It's like when people are like the hardest part of working out is getting yourself to the gym. It's a lot of people because very few people get involved in leadership that are like, okay, this isn't my thing. I'm not good at this. I don't want to do this. This isn't what I do. Not a lot of people do that. The hardest part for some people is saying, okay, even if I don't realize it now, this might be something that I'm interested in. This might be something that I want to be involved in. And this has very, very, altering effects on you and others.
Exactly. I agree with the point of, the sign up sheet. I mean, it makes me think how many people like are scared away from a sign up sheet, but in reality they can be an amazing leader. It's that fear of signing that commitment on the paper and saying that I'm going to be ASB president for all for the whole school year. But it's like that. I mean, even when I signed up to be an ASB in my junior year as being vice president, I was really scared because I was like, what if halfway through the year I realized that this isn't for me, and I hate this, I can't do this no more, and I'm locked in, right? And I think that commitment really scares a lot of people away. And definitely, that's something that isn't gonna go away. I definitely think everybody is definitely scared to commit to something new, but it's taking that step and really driving yourself to do it and seeing if you can trying new things and seeing if this is something that can benefit you or if you can benefit others.
Exactly. And a lot of people wouldn't think of me to be the type to join leadership or the type to be on a student leaders podcast, for example. And I didn't really either. I couldn't really see myself speaking at an assembly, or being like a captain of a sports team or any of this. But now that I've done it, I realize that I'm very much capable of that. And I know plenty of people who are too, but still, like I said, fear the sign-up board. Like you said, fear the commitment of being a leader for a year on end. Plenty of things that might stray people away that you must overcome.
I feel like also like ASB, like again, coming back to kind of the people, there's also so many opportunities. Like I promise it's not just like a weekly ASB meeting and that's it. This is gonna sound like a promo, but it's not. I'm gonna mention leadership camp. Because that's probably one of the greatest opportunities that I've been given through ASB. And even kids in my class that I think were just a leadership student that still got to go. But it's a week-long camp, and it was one of the best experiences I think I'll ever have in my life. It was just filled with like laughter and fun. And I made so many friends that I still talk to every day. And it barely any of it, like I didn't think I was going to a camp where we're going to be outside doing these challenges or we're going to be stargazing. Like, I thought it was going to be like boring work, pieces of paper, and it was so much more than that. And I wish everyone could get that experience. So definitely, like, don't be scared to put yourself out there. Like, I promise it's not as bad, and you'll get to do so much if you just try it.
This ad was paid for by Mount Baker Leadership Camp, by the way.
Yes, I wasn't paid to say this.
No, like I so agree because like I remember when I went, so last summer was my second time going to Mount Olympus, which is an AWSL camp, non-promo by the way as well. But I like, just like how Izzy said, like people, whenever I tell people that I went to a week-long summer camp, right, for leadership, they're like, oh, did you just learn how to, plan an event? And I'm like, no, like I met people that I never thought I would ever meet. I like my favorite memory was like after before lights out. Like we the northern lights were out. This was last year. And so the counselors were nice enough to let us stay up for like an extra hour. And me and my friends, we just laid on the grass and we just looked at the northern lights, and we just talked about like everything. Like we talked about our lives, what we want to do. And like I feel like I formed really strong bonds with people. And the thing that's so special about these leadership camps and just being a leader in general, when you're exposed to this environment, being away from home, but also surrounded by people that have the same aspirations and the same commitment to being a leader and helping your community like you do, everybody you talk to is going to want to talk to you because they know that you share the same passions. And like you meet so many people and build such strong connections that it's such an amazing environment to be in.
Yes, I totally agree. And one of the best parts I find is how everybody, like you said, we all have very similar goals. We want to lead. A lot of us are outgoing, and you don't even need to be outgoing to be a leader and to get involved in leadership in, your schools and your clubs and your sports and your church like Aubrey. There's so many ways, but you don't have to be extroverted. You can be an introverted person and be a leader at the same time.
Yes, I feel like that's one of the most common misconceptions about being a leader is that you need to be this like most like hyper, not hyper, but you just need to be this type of person that is always like wanting to go and talk to others. But that's not the case. Like even in this podcast alone, there are multiple people that aren't on the that aren't filming the podcast, but they're still behind the scenes helping like and still being a leader in that way.
Right. There's like a lot of the behind the scenes leadership opportunities. Like I think a main one that comes to my mind is I was a camp counselor and I was promoted to be an assistant counselor or an assistant mentor. And instead of being in a dorm with it was a sixth graders camp, but instead of being in the dorm, I got promoted to do like I got to plan the curriculum, promote the camp, and that in and of itself is it's a leadership position. It's you're promoting the camp and you're making it better. But it was all work from home. It was just Zoom calls, and I didn't even have to turn the camera on because I don't have a camera. But even if I did, I didn't have to turn it on. But it's very like there's so many opportunities and things that you can do at home. And if you really want to be a leader, but you're introverted or you just have anxiety of talking to people, it's perfectly fine to do something from home. There's a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. Like I will say, like my personal experience when I was a freshman and we were holding, I don't know the word. We were running for ASB. I was in leadership class, and although I wasn't an officer, I still had leadership. And we were, everyone was like filling out the sign-up sheet, and I put my name on there, and I was someone like didn't interact with anyone in that class. Like I was so kept to myself because I just felt like I wasn't loud. I'm not like this type of person I'm not the same type of people that they are. So it was kind of hard for me to like engage with them all the time. And then when people saw me put my name on that sign up sheet, it was kind of like, who, like, is she like, but like it wasn't a bad way. Like I want to get to know her. And I thought it was going to be a really hard process for me to like join this and get myself out there and be more creative, be more talkative. Like I thought that was going to be hard, but it's not as scary as it seems. I know what it's like to be that kid that's super quiet and then go to a big ASB officer position. And I just wish, more people wouldn't be so scared to do that. Because it's changed my school career. It's changed me further than that. I mean, it's getting me so far in life. So I'm so thankful for that.
Do you guys want to play a game that I just made up about 15 seconds ago called leaders or leading or not leading?
Vince, I totally
You want
want
to
to
play this game?
because you made it.
All
I want
right,
to play this game.
sweet,
I wanna play
sweet,
it. I wanna
sweet.
play it.
Okay, first let's start off easy. Let me throw some easy hits right here. Okay, being the captain of a sports team.
That is 1000% leadership. I feel like it takes a lot of strength and courage to even just have to like captain people and be like, hey, maybe like that's not what we should be doing. And I feel like that is 1000% leadership.
For sure.
Okay, final answers.
I agree.
I agree.
Oh, that's definitely like leadership written
Oh,
all
yeah.
over it. Like my friend I'm very close with, she's the captain of our judo team, and I see like everything that she does, and it's insane the amount of like commitment she has to lead our team. Like it's crazy. It's leadership everywhere. Like
Okay. Well, I'm happy to say that you guys passed. Yes, that is obviously leading. Leadership coded all over it. Totally leading. Okay, next one. This one might be a confusing one, so I'm happy to hear your answers and why you guys think it. What about helping out your friend when they're having a rough day?
I think that's could definitely be leading because you're choosing to like you're choosing to do something about it. Like if my friend was crying in the corner and I went up to her and asked, "Hey, what's wrong?" That's being a leader because other people are going to see that, be like, maybe I should start doing that when my friend is crying in a corner too. But if you didn't, it's kind of like not only are you, probably a bad friend, but you're not, standing up, you're not making a difference, I guess. You know what I mean?
I agree with Izzy.
right, no.
Sorry.
No, you go.
I agree with Izzy because I feel like in leadership, like you're setting the example for others. And if you go up and help your friend, that's obviously setting a good example. So I think it is leadership.
Yeah, of course. I was just about to say that. And I was going to say too, like, I think a very important part of being a leader is making sure your community or whoever you stand for, what community you stand for is happy, like, when I was a camp counselor, like that was my job. Like I had to make sure every student there was having a fun time. And if they weren't, like, how could I help? And definitely setting that example and showing that, making sure everybody is happy. And even if they aren't, how can we help to make them feel better, essentially?
Okay, sweet. Okay. What about this? Is this leading? Is this leadership? Exclusion and excluding people.
Ooh. I don't think so. I don't think that one would pass.
I don't think so. This is a really hard one, Vince, but I'm going to have to go with no. I'm going to have to go with no.
I'm gonna.
Hey,
Really?
it's the first thing I was able to. I couldn't all be leadership. I had to think of something that wasn't leadership off the top. Okay, one more. I can only think
see.
of one more question for the game. Is it leading or is it not leading? Okay. Let's say I'm a junior at Seaholm High School, and there's a freshman new to school, comes up to me. He's like, "Hey Vince, where's physics class?" Now, no, freshmen do not take physics. What do they take? Biology? Hey Vince, where's biology class? And I point him to biology class. Would that be leading?
I feel like it's definitely more towards leadership because you could have told him no or get out of my face or get out of your freshman, but you didn't do that.
Pool on the roof.
I think you chose the kind approach of being a leader and showing him the right way.
I agree. I definitely agree. I just really want to know, though, what freshman is taking physics, because this guy might be a genius. But that's definitely a very leader
He's the
quality
next young
of you.
Sheldon, guys.
Exactly. All right, Vince. So you got to tell us the results. Did we win the game? Did we win? Did we lose? Is it like Jeopardy where we got money?
Okay, no money. I'm sorry. No money involved. I know I should have specified
man.
before I recruited you guys. But I'm happy to say you guys at least went 4 for 4. I wonder how the audience got. Audience, please let us know at our Instagram at AWS Leaders. That is AWS Leaders on Instagram. So join us over the next couple months as we explore all the different leadership opportunities and go beyond leadership with us.
You've just listened to Beyond Leadership, brought to you by the Association of Washington Student Leaders. Don't keep this to yourself. Share it with a friend and spread the inspiration. See you next time.